Good morning, Shindo here. For all of you out there who supported Donald Trump because you thought that he was just one of you, that he was out there for the little guy like you, he was going to mix things up, not going to be the elite in power anymore. Well, this morning, it's being announced. Donald Trump has not made it official yet, but it looks like it's pretty official anyway. Donald Trump has announced his new Secretary of State. Rex Tillerson, Chairman and CEO of U.S. Oil and Gas Corporation, ExxonMobil. This guy's about as elite as they come. He's like Dick Cheney times 10. So to all of you who voted for Donald Trump thinking that, oh my gosh, he says what I think. He's just like me. That is the sound of you fools who voted for Donald Trump. I assure you, he's nothing like you. This is from Fortune magazine. Trump goes corporate on Secretary of State pick. Now, all of you who are coming at me saying, Saudi Arabia, we need to go, not worry about Saudi Arabia anymore and just be interested in our own oil, blah, 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 blah. And I've tried to explain to you that the dollar is attached to the value of the dollar is attached to oil. And as oil prices go up, so does the value of the dollar. Try to explain that to you, but you don't seem to understand that. All of you who think that somehow oil prices are going to go down anytime soon? Secretary of State works for ExxonMobil. Do you think he wants oil prices to go down? Do you? Ay, ay, ay. This is from Fortune magazine. You will find the article in the description box. Chairman and CEO of U.S. Oil and Gas Corporation, ExxonMobil, Rex Tillerson, speaks during the 2015 Oil and Money Conference in central London on October 7th, 2015. That's the photo. Tillerson has stalked out positions that go against the party's hard line. With news late Friday that ExxonMobil CEO Rex Tillerson has emerged as Donald Trump's top pick for Secretary of State, early attention have focused appropriately on the chief executive's extensive work with Vladimir Putin's regime. Tillerson's decade-long friendliness with the Russian rulers aligns him with Trump on a critical piece of incoming administration foreign policy agenda, and the nature of Trump's squad's posture towards Russia took on a darker and more urgent cast with a report Friday night that the CIA has concluded Russia meddled in the election to help the Republican win. CIA says that Russia meddled with the election to help Trump win, and now Trump is putting in a Secretary of State that has close relations with Russia. If Tillerson in fact gets the nod, look for Senate Democrats to make a confirmation issue of his opposition to Russian sanctions. Lifting them could be a boon to his retirement funds, a writ small version of Trump's conflict of interest. But Tillerson's advocacy in other areas grates against Trump's program. A rock-ribbed Republican, the Texan nevertheless has stalked out positions that puts him at odds with the party's new hard line. Most notably, Tillerson has passionately defended the Common Core education standards. Well, who cares? I mean, he's not over education. That in recent years became a bête noire of the Tea Party, in which Trump railed against the GOP primary. Tillerson went so far as to cut off Exxon campaign contributions to Poles who crossed him in the fight, although this arguably had no direct bearing on the company's bottom line. That issue would fall outside his portfolio as the nation's top diplomat. Right, exactly, so why even mention it, quite frankly. Yet the helm of the State Department, Tillerson, would have a role shaping trade policy. On that front, he's consistently called for, quote, working to lower trade barriers and end protectionist policies. Working to lower trade barriers and end protectionist policies. That seems to go against what Trump has been saying. As he said in 2013 speech, an advocate for the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the approach represents a direct affront to the core of Trump's populist economic pitch. While placing Tillerson squarely in the mainstream of thinking in the Business Roundtable, the Washington Trade Group represents top CEOs. So this guy is for fair trade and against restrictions to trade, which would be right down his alley as Secretary of State. Seems to go exactly opposite of what Trump has been talking about when it comes to trade. Trump nearly tapped another BRT stalwart, J.P. Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, for Treasury Secretary before Dimon took his name out of the running. The Wall Streeter has since been elected to chair the BTR for the next 2 years. Trump is poised, meanwhile, to name Goldman Sachs President Gary Cole to lead the National Economic Council, which coordinates White House economic policy. The appointment would add a third executive from the firm to the top ranks of Trump's governing team, though one senior Trump advisor, Stephen Bannon, hardly fits the mold. That despite the fact that during the campaign, Trump made Goldman one of his favorite targets, calling it out as a key cog in dastardly Wall Street Washington machine he promised to smash. So, he's also hiring people from Wall Street after he spoke against Wall Street in his campaign. Word of the Cohen appointment broke Friday morning as the FedEx CEO Fred Smith, another BRT member, wrapped up a speech in Washington meant to send a stern message to Trump about his trade agenda. Smith said scrapping the North American Free Trade Agreement would be, quote, catastrophic for the U.S. economy, and called protectionism broadly a recipe for failure. As the day wore on, it appeared he had preached to a gathering choir. Trump's hostility to free trade had been his most consistently held policy position, dating back to 1980s. But since the election, he has shown flexibility in the extreme on his defining campaign pledges. That doesn't mean Trump will soon be dusting off the TPP, which by all accounts will stay dead. If his recent appointments are a clue, however, much of the rest that put Trump at odds with the corporate consensus may be negotiable. Folks, it doesn't matter what I say. I've told you that Trump supporters are in a cult. a cult. And when you speak against the cult leader, it doesn't matter what he does. He can go completely against what you said, what you think of him, what you thought he was. Here we go. Here we go. He is an elitist. Donald Trump is not in there for you. He's in there for Donald Trump. I mean, seriously, folks, wake up. Seriously. This is Shindo. Have a good Monday.